Namaste, good morning, good afternoon to every one of you. Welcome to Bloom. We at Bloom strongly believe in co-creation, collaboration, and teamwork. Bloom has powerful and dynamic team which have been handpicked. They are who's who and are industry veterans who are having accumulated 200 years of experience specializing in their own field. Bloom is into mental wellness trainings, creating signature workshops for corporates and speaking engagements. Bloom will be catering to each and every individual where we will be creating masterpieces through our signature programs. Let me introduce our co-host for today, Mr. Deepak Khemani. He is the co-founder of Bloom and a strongest pillar of Bloom. He is a professional speaker on personal finance. Mr. Deepak Khemani is also a trainer with India's biggest organization in the BFSI space, a coach and a mentor to upcoming investment professionals. He has spoken at prestigious BFSI events like IFA Galaxy, MFRT, IFPA, DigiGurukul, and AMG 2020. He has also spoken on TEDx Gateway Unplugged stage twice. He is a life member of the $1 Million Roundtable, MDRT USA, a feat very few advisors are able to achieve. Mr. Deepak Khemani has also a co-author twice and an author once. Let me introduce a dynamic speaker for today. Ms. Sunita Bansdawala is a global coach, trainer, and certified international writing facilitator with 25 plus of years of experience. Her last stint was at United Nations and WHO. She completed her education from University of Cambridge and now trains youth and adults in business English, written and spoken, creative and other forms of writing. She currently conducts strategy thinking, problem solving, and self awareness programs to influence, empower, and give winning skills to her mentee in order to learn to earn. My name is Payal Irani, and I'm a founder and CEO of Bloom. Mr. Deepak, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Payal, for that wonderful introduction. My name is Deepak R. Khemani, and there is no prizes for guessing that. Today, our guest, Sunita Bansdawala. She's a dynamic personality. Payal has already introduced her in short. What I would like to do is hand it over to Sunita. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, and you have a small presentation for us. Why don't you go ahead and share it?
Thank you, sir. It's really nice to be a part of everyone. And it's really interesting that we are going to be on this journey together. A very small introduction that I could hear from both Deepak sir and Payal. It's been a wonderful journey that you both are wonderful over here. Now, my introduction is not as big as yours. And you are very humble, and thank you very much for giving me this profound introduction. Now, before we begin, I would like all our particular people who are here with us to just be with yourself, close your eyes, and just remember who you are. Great. Now, to begin our session, the liberated woman. Let me begin to sharing our screen. There's a command, the liberated woman. Who is this liberated woman? Who is she? Who can you be? And what will you be? And this question mark represents the liberated woman. The liberated woman is a person who has immense possibilities, immense ways of working. Defining the liberated woman is free from social commitments or traditional ideas. The modern image of the independent, liberated woman is us, you, me, everyone. Now, the liberated woman has 5 basic aspects of her. 1, awareness. 2, consideration. 3, acquisition. 4, service. And 5, loyalty. How do we create this woman with her own journey? First, awareness. Aware of her specific needs. Now, a little about me. I've come from Zimbabwe and I've been in India for the past 17 years. The awareness of me was when I realized that I needed to be financially independent and also be strong with what I do for me and my family. My family and I are the most important for us, but there's a purpose also for the wider range of the universe. People across the world, people across countries, cities, towns, villages need to be aware of their specific needs. And for me, my specific needs was to educate the masses in being strong with their own thinking skills. So the consideration, who is, what is at stake? Consideration is for me, I am at stake. If I don't do a good job, what will my audience, what will my participants, what will they take away from me? How can I give back to the society? I need to consider that. So what is your consideration? Who is, what is at stake? Thereafter, when I landed a job, acquiring a training opportunity to train people in business English, in writing skills, in grooming children, authors, everyone. This is who I could help. I could help these people by giving my services out to them, my knowledge. Remember, knowledge is something that you have invested in yourself, and it's now time to impart that knowledge to everywhere. Service. So I serve with dedication and commitment to ensure that everyone who is on my journey, who is along with me on this journey, has to be liberated. There's no way out. You have to. There's no way I can't. There's nothing that can say I can't. There's no I try. There's no I will. There's I am. So, how do you ensure your loyalty? You have to be loyal till the end, till you see the end result. And that's where your bookmark is placed for you to continue your journey ahead. Now, when we decide how to do this, the liberated woman begins here. So for the particular participants watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on our Zoom, I would like you to respond inside of your chat boxes and your comment boxes on a particular question that I would like to pose at you. The first one being awareness. What challenge are you aware of? Write it in the chat box immediately now. You have 10 seconds. Balancing work and home. Send the message to everyone so everyone can see your responses. Competition, absolutely. Be a good teacher, wonderful. Fear of judgment, that is something very true. Now, since you're aware of your challenges, the consideration is, why do you need to be considered to solve all these challenges? Why do you need to be considered? Why do you need to be considered to solve these challenges? There must be something inside of you to solve these challenges. What is that? Is it honesty? Is it accountability? Brilliant. Great. Superb. thirst to learn. Well done, Ami Parekh. Absolutely. Now, once we have realized that our challenge and consideration is done, what do you need to acquire your freedom? What do you need to acquire your freedom? What is it that you can do to acquire your freedom? I've acquired my freedom by becoming a facilitator, by becoming an educator. What can you do to acquire freedom? Upskill, brilliant. My way of teaching, fantastic. Very, very, very well done. Zest to excel, fantastic. Focus on the best way to deliver. Brilliant, brilliant answers. Now, for the fourth one, service. What service can you provide to people? What service can you provide to people? You alone. Share my expertise. Fabulous. So growing a team. Learn with fun. Perfect. Fantastic answers. What service can you do? Remember, it is you becoming the liberated woman, the liberated person. Support as in a scaffolding. Oh, interesting. Help unlearn and learn and grow together. I agree totally. Fantastic answers. Now, for the final journey, loyalty. How will you show your loyalty? How will you show your loyalty to those people that you want to work with? Lift them up. Okay, so motivate them by doing the best. Loyalty comes by default. Perfect. Motivate them, inspire them. Perfect. And learn from mistakes. Absolutely. This is something which is really, really powerful. And I think people from across the world will really find the ways of how to be this. Now with your answers, you can see the awareness, acquisition, consideration, service, and loyalty. These are our 5 main aspects when the liberated woman rises. Now, to clearly define how a liberated woman rises, let me show you about a simple video of a woman and how she is liberated. Keep your sounds loud, your headphones on, and watch this 1 minute, 30-second video. So this is a very powerful video, a very inspiring video. Now, from this video, I'm going to play it again. And I want you to identify awareness, consideration, acquisition, service, and loyalty. The 5 aspects when you watch the video again. Okay? Right. So, do you believe that this mother is a liberated woman? Fabulous. All right. Now, in the chat box, for the first question, what was the mother's awareness? Write your answers. Her child wasn't well. Okay. Her responsibility towards family and work. Okay. She felt she has to work for family. Okay. Think again, guys. Think again. Still, there's something that's missing there. Need of the solution to support family. Yeah, okay. But still, think. The challenge was something which was quite dire to the family. That the family was suffering from. Survival, yes, okay. Think, to survive, what do we need? Your answers are correct, but still I want that one key point. Basic necessities such as electricity, okay. Food, electricity, fine. What else? What was the family being affected by? Video once more, please. All right. So now you must have it. What is that cause? Come on, come on. It's so easy and it's so visible in the video. Think, think. Smoke from cooking. Well done, Deepakji. Exactly. Solar power, perfect. Darkness, perfect. Now you have the idea. So this is the particular challenge that the mother was facing. The coughing could create chest infections. Health becomes a problem. Health issues arise. And this is what she wanted to eradicate. Gas from manure, right? So this is the challenge that she faced. Now, once we have realized that this is the challenge that she faced, her awareness was seen. So what was the acquisition? What did she do for the acquisition? Solar panel for the electricity. Brilliant. Okay. For powering electric stoves. Correct. Fantastic. Now you have the idea. Well done. Okay. What did she consider? Available resources? Absolutely. What were those available resources? She read books to gain knowledge? Absolutely. What kind of books did she read? More towards energy utilization from solar or water tides. Perfect. So she upskilled herself with the knowledge that she could have. And then she motivated. Okay. Now, what service did she give with her new learning, with her new skill? She shared the knowledge with others in her village. Correct, Deepak sir. But before this, what did she do with the service? First, she implemented on herself. That's very important. You have to have a tried and tested on yourself to see if it will work. And then you have to impart the knowledge. Yes, implemented in her own house. Correct. Perfect, Jasmine. Now, how did she prove her loyalty? How did she prove her loyalty? Tried to solve problems of family members and not leave them in difficulty. Fabulous answer. By spreading her knowledge and making life easy for her family. Totally. But for herself as well, right? She had to be a liberated woman for herself. First herself and then the family. So when we have a way of working for ourselves, we become loyal first to ourselves and then to everybody else. It doesn't go the other way around. It first is to us. If you're loyal to yourself, you are then loyal to the world. So by spreading her knowledge and making life easy for her family, totally. Now, this is the journey that I am on. This is the journey that I look for. When I have ways of working with people, I look forward to keep on contributing to society in whichever ways they need help. By developing the English language skills, I can help or support anyone through my mission, and I ask you to help me on this mission. Please follow me on my social media links, Facebook and Instagram, where I will post the links accordingly on our Zoom chat. And Payal will be posting it onto our Facebook as well. Now, my question to you all over here is, when you have a chance to make a difference, when is that chance? Is the chance now?
Yes.
Or when will it be? Have you decided that you want to be in the now? Absolutely.
Yes.
Fabulous. It is in the ongoing process. Perfect. Never ever see yourself say no. Sometimes it's important to say yes, even to the most challenging tasks, and learn to do that task by learning a new skill.
Yeah.
Well done. Okay. So thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful session, and I'm really, really glad that I was able to dedicate this time and help all the participants present here today and be a part of this journey.
Yeah. Thank you, Sunita. I mean, really fantastic presentation. And you took us through each and every aspect of all those 5 things: awareness, right up to loyalty.
Right.
Tell us, now you said that you came to India from Zimbabwe.
Yes, sir.
Tell us the difference in life in India and Zimbabwe, especially from a liberated woman's perspective. How you felt over there and how you feel when you are here.
Sure. So in Zimbabwe, right now, they are in a state of turmoil because of the economic situation. But when I was in Zimbabwe, I always grateful, and I thank everyone who helped me on my journey. So being educated in Zimbabwe helped me to become the person I am today, because there's a lot of rich cultures, and knowledge is something that we all had to follow through. So I always decided that at that point of time, I would always be a writer from the age of 16. So I never took it up on a professional front, but I was always writing for competitions, for essays, and for everything. The time I became a writer, a true writer, was when I was developing content in Zimbabwe for the United Nations in WHO. So the doctors over there, they would give us some content, and we had to show infographics and show reports and everything of that sort. So at that time, I learned the art of writing. So when I used to write articles, the doctors and them, they used to see the effect of how it is. And we had to write these newsletters for the patients of that particular time. So when I was writing, I always said, what can I write with my words that would impact somebody? And that's where the journey of a writer began. And then it went into content writing, corporate trainer, and now educator, and then an author. So a liberated woman for me in Zimbabwe was being educated, and a liberated woman for me being in India has brought my career to a very high level. And that's where I see the 2 women being brought into that aspect.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your journey. Now, you said you landed up in India 17 years ago, and then you went into corporate. You went and told them, this is how can I improve your language skills? How can you become better at business if you improve your English? Just share us a few examples of yours on how difficult it was to convince someone that you need to understand or learn English to become a better businessman.
Okay, so when I landed in India, my English was really on a very high level, and I was the worst in Hindi. I couldn't speak a single word of Hindi, and I used to really have a hard time speaking to, the vegetable vendors or the rickshawalas and every one of that. So I had to learn to use my English in such a way that I had to learn to translate English into Hindi. So it was one particular time where I said, no, India needs to learn English, at least for their sake. Forget me, but at least for their sake. So at that point of time, I learned how to converse in English by saying a very simple sentence. So I used to ask people what were their names in English. But for those who didn't understand English, I had to translate into Hindi. So I used to ask, तुम अपने आप को क्या बोलते हो? So instead of just asking, आपका नाम क्या है? Now that my English and my Hindi has become okay, I wouldn't say brilliant, but okay, I am able to communicate with them in a very, very better way. So speaking in English was when people heard me speak and they realized that I came from a very different background and I could help them. So when you're working with United Nations or working with international organizations, the proficiency and the level of English is always high. So whether you're communicating, speaking, writing, everything, it has to be of that A1 level.
Yes.
And that's what I saw the niche over here. So I was given the first training opportunity to train business English to middle management managers. And from there, I was a corporate trainer for 12 years. And then I saw the need arise when my son was in the 6th standard, that he was not able to follow through with essays and story writing and that. So I started coaching him in creative writing. And that's when I took on the journey of making him a writer too.
Wow.
Yes, so he's a writer too, and he is in the 11th standard now.
Wow. We have teenage writers now, you know.
Yes, yes.
And I mean, when you have such an able mother, chances of them following in her footsteps are quite high.
Yes. So I found myself a liberated woman when I was able to help the corporate industry and now the education industry.
Yeah.
So many students or many of my co-teachers and many of my participants across the world, still, I have a lot of authors who are still under my guidance, and we have them as writers.
Wonderful.
They are publishing their own books, and I'm just a mentor for them.
Great. So that is so good to know. In fact, the Bloom 100th anniversary is fast approaching, and there is going to be a special book launch on the anniversary of the century episode of the Bloom Talk Show. You are
Wonderful.
you are history in the making, and I'm sure you'll be able to guide us and help us with that book, which probably will also have a chapter from you.
Absolutely. I would be delighted to write for the book.
Thank you, Sunita. Now, let me take you on to a slightly a question which may not be liked by many people, but I would like your views on this. You talk about the liberated woman, and there is this side which is called feminists. Tell us the difference between a feminist and a liberated woman.
A liberated woman for me is when you also put in aspect of how men can help you. It's not that men are not liberated. Men being your husband, your father, whoever. For me, my father was my liberated man because he raised me up to see that women can also work. So when he allowed my mother to become a teacher, it showed me that, yes, he's not stopping anyone from anywhere. So this is how it is. The same way when my husband came up and he liberated me and says, go ahead, do what you have to do. And, continue your journey as your career or whatever you want to do. I will not stop you. So there's been a liberated woman where there's a man and a woman who's always been a part of a journey. When it says a feminist, I believe, is somewhere where she hasn't been given the grant to do what she wants. And that's the upsetting part. So if we want to, not if is a negative word. When we want to do something, sometimes we have to go and be that person and stand up to our people that I will do it because I am that empowered person. No, I am that liberated person.
Yeah, a feminist is continuously fighting. A liberated person or a liberated woman or even a man is not fighting. He's just wanting to have everybody go along with and reach greater heights to become better. I think that is a very, very good and a very simple explanation describing both sides of what people may believe is the same coin, but these are actually two different sides, completely two different sides. Now, you had spent some time with the UN, you told us. You also said that you were involved in designing the graphics and the English part of how the message got across.
Yes.
Tell us how that changed you, your outlook, your life.
So when I was designing the content, I was just given numbers and figures and what it just meant. And for a layman person like me, it had no meaning. And I was just writing numbers. For what were those numbers? Why were those numbers so important? So I asked my doctors, I said that can we put this in kind of a graphic where it will make sense to even a layman who doesn't understand such high level of English. So we created pie charts, we created bar graphs, we created the levels of how the particular work that we were doing was moving ahead. So at that time, I remember there was one very important incident where I was doing a particular chart on tuberculosis, TB, which is also very, at that time, it was very, very bad in Zimbabwe and in India as well. So there was ways of where people were trying to find cures. So UN was already in part of that. Even people from across the world was doing that. So when I realized that TB was just not in Africa, not in Zimbabwe, but it was around the world, I said, so why don't we give this a global perspective? So we covered Zimbabwe, then we covered Africa, and then we covered the world of how TB was suffering. So we had the graphics designed in such a way, and it went into the reports across the world. So that made it a lot easier for people to understand the severity. Because if we write 10, 20, numbers are numbers. But when we show the spread, it becomes much more visible.
Yes, and many a times they say that visuals speak louder than words.
Absolutely.
A lot of people understands visuals much better than just throwing out numbers or just seeing a full slide right in front of you with a lot of data, which probably doesn't make sense to all of us.
Absolutely.
So visual speaks to the mind. Yes, definitely it does.
So this is the reason why I show the liberated women with the 5 aspects: awareness, consideration, acquisition, service, and loyalty, with a video at the end.
And the video was a perfect match to the message which you wanted to give across. It had all these aspects of awareness, loyalty, and taking care of the family and giving it back to everybody. So that was a fitting end to your presentation in which you wanted to give out your message.
Yes.
Payal, would you like to ask Sunita any question?
Yes, Sunita, I want you to share an experience of your journey here in India. When you arrived, you had some difficulty, some challenges in conversing with the vendors and other people
Yes.
in your life. So one experience about this and your journey about writing, creative writing, in brief.
Okay, so when I had to communicate in Hindi to the vendors, I didn't know how to ask a particular vegetable or ask about a particular product that they were selling. So usually when they sell onions or potatoes, we usually ask, how much is this? Now, when I went to the particular vendor, I went with a friend and I said that, you know what, I need onions. How do you ask for onions? So she was like, Bhaiya kaisa diya? So I'm like, why are you asking him how to give it to you? Because kaisa diya means just give it to me. There's no question of how much is it, right? So I looked at it and she's like, just wait and watch. Again, she asked, Bhaiya kaisa diya? And he's saying 20 rupees kilo, and I'm 20 rupees kilo, and 30 rupees kilo, and whatever it is that he's saying. Even till today, if they ask me, if they say pochpan, I'm like, what? So then they'll be like 55. I'm like, okay. Or 35. So I am totally unaware of the numbers in Hindi. And that's what my journey is, still learning Hindi numbers.
Bombay Hindi is that typical Bombaya Hindi which they call. It's a mixture of English, Hindi, Marathi, Konkani, Gujarati, and so many other languages put together.
Right. Now, for the writing challenge, I've never had a challenge in writing at all. To tell you the truth, if I don't read and I don't write before going to bed, I will not have a peaceful night's sleep.
No.
So I have to read anytime, every time, and that way. So at the moment, when I'm reading, I look for what can I implement in my life and in others' lives that will make an impact. And that's what it is. So whether I'm reading on Kindle or in a book or a newspaper, whatever it is, what is it that I will gather from this and will work in my. So actually letting the words dwell into my subconscious mind is what I'm always looking at. That will interest me. I won't remember the text, but at least the storyline is something important.
Yeah.
So that's what I do as a writer. So I don't have writing challenges as such, but yes, I am always looking for ways of how to implement better writing skills.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Sunita.
Thank you.
One of your favorite quote or a song in Hindi and as well as in English, if you can share.
A quote in Hindi. I'll rather say a quote in English because I cannot pronounce or say it correctly in Hindi. So my favorite quote is writing words wonderfully.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice. So, to our beautiful audiences who are present right now today, as well as on Facebook Live and here on Zoom, so we are coming up with a special session of analogy, writing analogy, which Sunita will be explaining further, and I'll be putting the WhatsApp link. So, any of you who are interested in this program, Bloom is coming up with a special offer in association, collaboration with Sunita. Sunita, can you please share some light on the
Yes.
analogy?
So first of all, let me thank Sumia Jmera. She's here today and she has revamped my entire PPT with the content that I have given. So she's an amazing, dynamic social marketer, and she has a key of how to design content and etc. So she will be one person you can go to who will always support you in every way, in any way. Now, with the book of the analogy, I want people to come into our book who are able to make a world of a difference to those who they matter with. So it could be a parent, it could be a child, it could be anyone who they think could make a difference in them. So it could be your journey inside of this analogy. Remember, it's our book that we are we are creating for a group of people who need to be enlightened, to be liberated. So your story, however your story is, I will be coaching you on the Zoom platform with sessions that will cover your story inside of this. You will be writing 250 words with me, and I will be editing it for you, and we will be publishing it into a book.
Okay.
So this is the program that we'll be having, and Payal will be taking it on for this.
While we need to spread this far and wide across all our networks, across all our social media channels, so that everybody who is interested can learn from what Sunita has to offer to them. And as nowadays with the explosion of social media and so many different channels, content writing is the most sought after job. People pay you for writing number of words. People
Yes.
pay you for just designing one graphic. People will pay you for just making one PDF. I know a lot of ladies with a creative bent of mind, who are actually housewives sitting at home doing all their daily household chores. But whenever they have their free time, in a day or two, they will be designing 2, 3, 5 creatives and making 500, 1,000, 2,000 rupees per creative, also generating some money for themselves and for their family. And, lots of people are making money in part-time content writing. So this is one place to be. This is something which we should not miss.
Absolutely. As we are speaking, whether you're single, you're married, you don't want to be married, anybody can be a writer. If you can write a simple sentence, an apple can drop from a tree, or the apple drops from a tree, you're a writer. That's how simple it is to be a writer.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what better recognition to be called an author or a co-author of a published book? What better visiting card can you show to someone saying that I am an author, I am an expert on this topic, this is my expertise, this is my book. So wonderful, great. If anybody from the audience wants to ask Sunita a question, please unmute yourself and ask.
Deepak sir, even one particular aspect that when a person decides to write, they become a legend because their work will be carried even after they say bye-bye to the world.
Exactly. That is what basically the idea is. You will live on in your book. You will live on the content which you wrote, you on the videos you made, on the topics you wrote about. You will live on forever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So if anybody wants to say something to Sunita, ask, wants clarification, please go ahead and mute yourself and ask.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ami. Go.
Yes. First of all, I'm glad that I have participated in this, and I am enriched with some knowledge from Sunita ma'am, as already he is a teacher of my son, so I know her very well, and I am also under training for some teaching profession only. So from June onwards, I will be also starting that work
Wow.
probably. I am in the line of math concepts,
Wow.
mental math.
You are
Mental
already a
maths.
liberated woman, ma'am.
So that is why I liked it so much, and you enriched us with your knowledge, and you are mentor to our kids that I have already
Yes.
experienced it. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Ami, for sharing your thoughts. And anybody else, if there is anybody who wants to ask, say anything to Sunita, go ahead. It's almost 50 minutes into the show. It is a Sunday afternoon. All of us will now be going and wanting to have our lunch, sit down with our families, and have some me time for ourselves. So it seems there is no more questions. I take this opportunity to thank Sunita for joining us today on this Sunday, sharing your journey with us and being part of this collective, this group where you will help budding authors, writers create content. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everyone who is joined in this room, who is watching this program live streamed on Facebook. And of course, this will also be a video which will come up on YouTube. So thank you everyone who has joined in. I'm sure this has been really worth these last 50 minutes of your time. Do join us next Sunday with another guest, another dynamic personality who can help you change your lives. I am Deepakar Khemani signing off from the Sunday Bloom Talks. Thank you and God bless everyone.